I disappeared. I mean, in podcast world, you never disappear, do you?
No.
You just get rehashed.
Yeah.
However, I've disappeared now for 2-3 weeks trying to sort out a whole bunch of fun in the office.
It's life. It is life.
I know, I've missed it. I've really missed it. You know, this is a real highlight in the week.
Well, there you go.
And to hear that we've done 75 of these now.
75 podcasts.
Well, I've got that little, I don't normally get a competitive streak, but knowing that Glenn's done more, is Glenn the leader at the moment?
Yeah, he's knocking on 100's door.
Right, well, in which case I need to arrange a very horrible accident for him, so he's totally and utterly incapacitated at all levels until I get one more than wherever he is. Is that a bit harsh?
Yeah. I haven't got my drill yet. So backstory is I was putting up a sunshade and I was putting in a nice anchor and burned out my drill. But hey, look, the drill and all the other stuff that I got with it was like a 92 Durham kit.
Yes.
So it was, 350 watt plasticky thing. So, I got good life out of it.
Yeah, you did.
I still haven't got the drill. I was actually, because I need to make a new composter. And so I was going to put the compost bucket in the car and ask you, just bring your drill and we'll just put the holes in it. So maybe next week we'll try out your drill. I'll send you a note.
Do you know what? I've got more than one. So on that basis, if you'd like to trial it first, you can just have it for a while. It's fine.
I wouldn't mind trialing
Great,
it, but
I
could just bring it. And,
no.
Okay.
Seriously, take it, do it in your own time, and you're more than welcome to borrow it for as long as you need.
All right, next week I'll bring the drill.
Remind me the day before, because
I'll
in fact you'll have to remind me 15 minutes before I leave the house as well, knowing me.
No problem. Sounds excellent.
Yeah.
I put on my Colin hat on the weekend.
Did you know? That's a scary place to be.
Got out my little sandy, my little vibrating sander. What do they call those things? Vibrating sanders?
I don't know what type you're talking about. Random orbital?
No, it wasn't the random orbital. Just the...
Oh, they just call that hand sander. Square sheet, 1/3 square sheet. Yeah.
Got that out and sanded down my outdoor table to put,
Nice.
It has probably had about 100 coats of oil on it.
Nice. What do you use? Teak oil?
Teak oil.
Yeah, great.
And I was looking at the other day, I was just going, it can't take another coat. So I got out the sander, about 4 rounds from coarse right down medium down to fine, beautiful finish on it. Put some new oil on. Oh,
it looks better than new, doesn't it?
It does.
I love that process.
I was in shock.
Yeah.
It was absolute shock. And I was also in absolute shock at how, with the hand sander, how easy it was.
Well, that's interesting because I would have thought that a hand sander, by its very nature, the fact it vibrates rather than rotates, would take longer than a random orbital. And a random orbital, I mean, I haven't done it on the current one, I'll explain that one in a minute, but on the last one, ours was an 8-seater, and it used to take me probably about an hour and a half to do the table itself.
Okay. Yeah, it took me about an hour to do the table.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, it took about an hour.
Blimey.
And the reason, because I was thinking random orbital, maybe...
Palm sander.
Oh,
not a hand sander, palm sander.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe I need to get the belt sander.
They're quite aggressive.
They are. And then I thought the random orbital, but then I was just thinking the grain, and I thought the random orbital with the grain, I like the idea that I could just go with the grain.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, it's a table.
Is it teak? It must be teak.
Yeah.
Well, if it's teak, no, it'll handle it just fine. There's no issue there whatsoever. What I would say with a random orbital is the main issue with those is because you've got what's the attachment method that you've got for getting the pads onto the actual?
Oh, yeah.
What's it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right. Okay, that one. The peel off. The peel off. Yeah. Anyway, that you find that those die over time.
Oh.
And what I had to do in the end was...
Oh, that's right. You bought a box of them, right?
I did. I had to get them off eBay. And every year or two, I need another 4-pack to work. Because I also, as you know, have been flat out this weekend sanding the shed. And I got through... Actually, I only got through like six discs in the end.
Okay.
On mine. But it was a heck of a job. I mean, I was 5 hours, I think, just on the sanding stage. Yeah. Well, it'd be 13 months. We've never been talking about it for 13 months.
Is it done? Because I did see it posted up on Instagram.
Yes.
And I thought I was looking at Home and Garden, a page out of Home and Garden.
Well, did you notice that there was only one picture there?
Yes, I did.
Did you notice that that was only the front side?
Yes, I did.
Did you imagine? I wonder what's going on the back side.
I did ask that question.
Okay, well, so the truth actually is No, it's not totally finished, but I'm ridiculously close.
Okay, how many hours? Because you had 4 hours, now you must be done.
Well, no, if you imagine, I had 4 hours, but that was before all the refinishing. So I went back out to it and I looked at it and thought, okay, I'm not sure that this will reliably get through another summer. So, and if I deal with it now, then it basically means that I'll be in a much better position. So that was, 5 hours of sanding. And then with Ruby, we took about 2 hours to get the preservative on it. So that was the first day. In fact, no, that's the second day. And the first day I spent probably about another 3 of the 4 hours to get the rest of the trims on. Actually, I replaced a couple as well. It just weren't.
Just gone bad, or just,
well, no, it's more.
Right?
It just didn't look right. It is. You've got to accept the fact that it's a process when you're doing something custom, and sometimes when you look at it again, or you've just worked through some more of the areas, you realise you could have done that better.
Yeah.
So I took a few off, remade them, and various bits like that. So there was a little bit of extra there. So all I've got left, in effect, is I need to cut down one piece of roof felt. I need to put one trim on, and I need to put the center roof section. I need to just put another piece of roof felt down that middle, and that's me done.
And then you're done.
Yeah, so I've got probably about an hour's worth of work.
That's great.
I had an hour's worth of work until actually last night's dog walk, when I took another look at the shed and realised that the 2 coats of preservative that I put on had soaked in entirely. So I actually need at least another 1, if not 2.
What are you using for preservative? What are you putting on?
I am using, it's just a kind of a standard, is it Cuprinol that I used in the end, or, just one moment, let me just grab my phone to look.
What really grabbed my attention was, go ahead.
Saddling.
Oh.
Yeah, saddling this time.
Why did you choose that as opposed to?
Because I want something that will actually penetrate. And that's the issue. I don't really want a varnish, because a varnish in UV normally goes cloudy and then looks all a bit naff. Whereas this is actually penetrating as it goes. As it is, thinking about it, this is what I used last time as well. And I got to 13 months. But I think I did 2 coats last time. I've put another 2 coats on it this time. And I think it needs at least another 1, if not 2. But saying that, I was determined this time, because I knew I was going to be tight on time again, I was determined this time to use what I had in the garage. So it actually went off with a really short nap roller.
Oh.
Yeah, which is not ideal.
No, I mean, that's the opposite of what we've ever talked about.
Yeah, exactly. So really I wanted a long nap, but that was all that I had. So we were dipping very, very rapidly. But, the most lovely thing about it all was that Ruby, my 7-year-old, she decided that she wanted to come and help, which is always lovely. And I thought, right, 10 minutes of this, and she'll have done the experience, and off she went. Yeah. Anyway, she did the whole thing with me, 2 hours.
What did she like about it? What grabbed her and kept her there?
I honestly think it was just a combination of a new skill, which she's really up for, and also because it's a project with Daddy, it's just it's something that she's naturally loves to do, and I just absolutely adore having her there when we're doing it.
So if you've got her learning how to roll, stain,
she's very good at it now.
Yeah, learning at this age.
But it was hilarious because obviously with her height, she's doing the middle section. She doesn't want to bend down low, and she doesn't want to reach too high. So we had this middle strip that was done, with obviously the odd bit that was missed here and there. So I'd be doing the tops and the bottoms, and then sort of back over the middle again.
Why didn't you want to bend down?
I don't know. I didn't really mind, because at the end of the day, I just want to keep her entertained, and that's half of the trick of a project, isn't it?
With the short nap, did she end up wearing, and did you end up wearing quite a bit of splatter, or not really?
No, actually, it splatters less, you find, because you don't have that rotational force in the same way, but you just can't get as much on. Yeah. So that might be the reason why I now need to give it at least another 1 coat, maybe 2. So I'm going to try and grab. Oh, another thing I do as well on these is. I use a radiator roller rather than the full-size roller.
Okay, so a little short one.
It gives you more control, which is great, and secondly, the wastage is 10 times less if you do it that way. So, and literally the way that I'm doing it is with a 1-gallon drum, and literally directly into the drum. Yeah, I don't even bother with a roller.
So no little paint tray where you're squeegeeing out.
That's for internal. If you're doing internal, or you're doing an oil-based paint, Oh, actually, no. If you're doing like a gloss or something like that, then I would use that to get a much more even coat. If it's exterior, I would just literally go for it at the speed of light and try and get as much on as you possibly can, and then just even it out as you go.
What about spillage on the ground as you're pulling out that?
Yeah, a little bit, but again, I'm on stone, and that stone is soon going to get sand on it, and you won't really notice. And it wasn't that dramatic anyway, so
nice.
it was a nice, simple way of doing it. But yeah,
and what's going on the backside of the shed?
The backside, well, all of the walls are done. It all got sanded, all the walls were done. And again, I redid some of the trim that I'd done previously, put a whole load additional on, put the initial coats of preservative on that as well. And so pretty happy with that on the whole. But again, there is just that little bit extra to do to get it exactly where it needs to be. But I'm really happy with the end result. And it was lovely. Actually, see, it's something that, working on that shed, it's something that you don't really talk about too often is your memories of DIY.
That's a big one. Because I think as you kind of, hit your 30s and 40s and onwards, everyone's got that DIY project that they worked on with, early on, fresh out of school or in high school or in grade school with their parents, maybe not, and they learned some stuff, and it's a memory you take with you.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm constantly going back to those memories of working with my dad. Yeah. But to now have worked with my father-in-law and my daughter on this shed makes it quite a special shed all in all.
You can't get rid of this shed. This shed's not going anywhere.
No, absolutely not. And it's something bizarrely I'm quite emotional about. So over a shed, can you believe it? But it's been wonderful. And you know what? If I was doing it again, I know it's been a long time, 13 months, but that's the way to do it. Yeah. If you're confident that you're not going to lose the overall enthusiasm for something, spreading it out, taking your time and deciding each time what you're actually going to get done and getting it done, and then also allowing yourself the time not to get too stressed about it.
And I think the fact that this is the big problem, that so many people will be listening going, I start a project, and they're thinking to themselves, I start a project and it doesn't finish. But in this case, you've got 13 months where you've thought about it, you've worked on it, and you keep coming back to it piece by piece. It's just the never-ending story.
Do you remember that episode that we did with Jack Foe?
Yes.
Who was the wonderful fitness guy, who, thanks to him, I'm now at a stable, happy weight.
Oh, wonderful.
One of the points that he kept making so we're supposed to do our 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. One of the points that he kept making was the fact that you didn't manage it on one particular day. All that you can do now is pick it up again and keep going.
Exactly.
If you think about that from a maintenance perspective, and you look at whatever it is that's not finished as a failure, at that point it's done. Yeah. You have been beaten by it, and it will keep beating you on a daily basis. If instead you're spending a little bit of time just to think about how you want to do it, what you want to do differently, then you're not beaten by it. You're just taking a hiatus. It's totally different. Yeah. And Natalie always takes the mick. In fact, she's extremely supportive, I've got to say, over the shed and the project. And bless her, she came out halfway through with a bit of a pie and a bit of a drink, which was great. Yeah, it was lovely. Nice. And the chat about it. But one of the things that she always said throughout the project was, you spend more time standing there looking at it than actually doing anything.
Yes.
But that is a critical part of DIY, because that's what saves the errors, which is just to think. And quite often it was, I could do this bit better. So why don't I? Because there's no real time project on this. Well, so why don't I strip it off and give it another go?
A lot of DIY is learning as you go.
Absolutely.
And that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
And, and sure, there are some folks who are doing DIY who are professionals, and this is their task, and they've got all sorts of talent. Yeah. But there's a lot of us doing DIY that, we're learning as we go, and we're going to make some mistakes, and it's a slow process, and it's very much, as you said, a learning process.
It is. And these days, I don't actually get to do that much DIY myself, so I am relearning quite a lot of the skills and all this kind of stuff. And most importantly, I'm doing it with my daughter, which is just wonderful.
It's family bonding.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was just brilliant to do. But the next project is definitely upon us. Because let's just take a step back a moment. We started off talking about teak oiling and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I had the most wonderful table and 8 chairs
that you painted white.
No.
Oh, no, the white
bar.
Okay.
That one died a death. But that's another story.
Okay.
The dining table and chairs I had for probably 6-7 years, I think. And I bought it from Ace Hardware in the days where Ace Hardware had teak stuff in, and they didn't for a very, very long time. And every year or two, I would sand the whole thing down, re-teak it, and away we went. And I thought at the end, I wanted something that was a little bit bigger because we are 9 when the in-laws come over, including my mother-in-law now. And so 8 is not, I wanted a 10. I really wanted a 10. So I had literally just done the teak oiling ready for another season on the table, walked into Ace Hardware looking for something completely different. And there was this amazing 10-seater teak unit, and it was on special offer. Job done. I signed on the dotted line there and then. And I then came to need to sell my old one.
Right.
So as I normally do, I went on Dubizzle and I looked around for any that were there. There was nothing. There's absolutely nothing whatsoever.
People don't get rid of them?
No teak, or alternatively, there was stuff that was just destroyed from people who'd done nothing since the day they bought it. So I thought, right, well, in which case I'm going to make up my own price. So I did, which was exactly what I paid for it when it was brand new 7 years earlier, plus a little bit for delivery, which we would be able to arrange. So I'm now able to deliver it, and it looked phenomenal. Anyway, took me a day. Somebody came over, gave me my asking price, and away we went. And it was just nuts for a 7-year-old table.
How does that work?
I know, and it was done, job done. Well, if you imagine, you can't even buy it preserved and ready to go. And to get that richness that's in it, and to see the grain, the grain is just key to teak. It's absolutely wonderful. Anyway, and then Natalie basically decided that on the new table, I wasn't allowed to put the teak oil on because she wants the teak to mellow and to go to more of a grey colour this time round.
I get that. You see that on cruise boats sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's one of two ways. You either like the highly finished teak, or you like the weathered teak.
Okay, so I like the highly finished teak.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. However, as you well know, I am not the deciding factor.
Well, there's got to be give and take.
Right. So, we finally got to the discussion over the weekend that is this weathered enough for you? And she's like, is it starting to look a bit scrappy? I was like, oh, right. So now you've said scrappy. Now it's too late for me to recover this to the way that I like to recover it. So I need to deal with what we've got at this stage. So the next project is going to be try and work out whether a light sand will keep the kind of percentage of grey that she's comfortable with whilst getting rid of, there's a little bit of mould on it as well. So I'm probably going to need to do, it's not mould, it's just kind of a little bit black in places.
Right.
So I've got to get that all done, and then hopefully get it suitably preserved. I'm not going to use teak oil this time. Well, I'm slightly worried because it does give it that orangey tinge, which is what she doesn't particularly like. And when you put that on greyed teak, it goes a kind of weird colour.
Right.
So
what are you going to use?
I've got a preservative that I used on the inside of the shed. Now, the thing was, with the inside of the shed, because I knew that it wasn't going to be exposed to too much of a degree, and secondly, again, seems like a story of my life, I was short on time, I cracked open the sprayer, and I sprayed the whole thing.
Okay, pause that for a second. That's a great way to do it. Going back to your, except you get it everywhere, but going back
wastage. It's like 3 to 4 times the amount of brushing.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Going back to the table.
Yeah.
And it's getting that weathered look. Could you not get your super duper pressure washer out and just wash the life out of that thing to...
I'm going to try that first. That's exactly a really, really good idea. If I'm honest, that might just be the right thing to do and then leave it.
Yeah.
Because it's not kind of got that even. If she's going for that grey look, it's not really got the even grey look at the moment. It's kind of in that middle position. So I think she's, and also thinking about it the more and more, it's also, I think that it's just kind of the mouldy bits that have put her off.
Yeah.
And if she's going for the look, let's go for the look.
But and a little fine sanding might just be all it needs. Pressure wash, fine sand, there you go.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, if I'm going to sand, I prefer to sand and then finish. So I might just pressure wash it for now and leave it for this season. Get through the summer because we've got an awesome cover for it.
Oh, good.
And then maybe start in October-ish, around there. Guess what else?
What else?
I've ordered the bed.
Really?
Yeah. Well, most of the bed. Obviously, not all the bed. Where's the fun in
frame?
that?
You got the frame?
I've ordered the frame. So Jumeirah Carpenter are doing that for us.
So you looked and looked and looked and looked. This is the irony, right? You want to go and find a bed, like chairs. There's all sorts of places to find beds until you realize, well, there's really not. The variety's not there. And then ultimately, 9 times out of 10, you have to settle for something, which isn't really what you want.
Well, the issue for us was, and I think I mentioned before, that we have the dogs that basically, if they're outside of our room, they just scream the house down all night. So they now have their own beds in our room, which they're fine in until like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then they come up to sleep in the middle of us. So currently we've got the biggest bed that's going for, standard bed. It's a 180 width. Well, I ain't going to work with Rolo's a bit chubby, let's be honest. He's a bit chubby, bless him. And Paddington just wants to sit on your head no matter what.
These are medium-sized dogs.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Sit on your head.
Yeah, he did that this morning at 5 a.m. I mean, come on. I realised the other day he's only 9 months old still. And it feels like he's like 5. It's been with us for so long, but he's 9 months old, bless him. And he's not learning. He's just not learning whatsoever. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so the width is really important.
So what are you doing? You're making a custom. You've got 3 mattresses on this thing.
So I could have gone from a 180 to 200. 200 width is the maximum you can get here as a standard size.
That's a big bed.
Yeah, but think about 20 centimeters.
Yeah.
That's not enough, really. If we're going to do this, then we need more than that. So I decided that 220 is the right size. Well, it turns out that you can actually get custom mattresses made here.
You can?
For sensible money, like the same kind of money.
I've never heard of that being done.
Yeah.
Who's making custom mattresses? Intercoil, these guys?
No, it's not. It is the Mattress Souk, I think.
Really?
1 second.
Mattress Souk. I have never heard. I mean, obviously, then you've got to get custom sheets made and custom bed
so this is where it gets all quite.
There's quite a bit of custom now involved.
Yes. So what we kind of got to was we have to do, and this is where it gets a little bit more crazy, because the mattress store actually, which is the guys who are they're in a lot of the main malls here.
Okay.
And what they basically said was, we make them here in the UAE anyway, and on that basis, it doesn't actually make much difference to us what size we're making.
Huh.
So therefore, we will literally just, cost-wise, if you want to go wider, we will just pro-rata our standard rate up to the kind of size and square meterage that your mattress is going to be.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And then pre-Christmas we spoke to them. I then spoke to them post-Christmas, didn't mention the pre-Christmas conversation, got another 1,000 dirhams off. So I was happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that is the mattress sorted. So next we've got the frame, which we're doing at Jumeirah Carpenter.
Which these guys are brilliant.
They are incredible. And they're also doing us the 2 side units as well.
Nice.
And bless them.
What kind of wood are you using for these things?
A lot of it's going to be oak, actually.
Ooh,
so the brief to them was quite simple, which is we do want to paint it. So therefore, if we don't need to use oak, then don't use oak. But I need something that's going to last a minimum of 20 years with my weight.
Right.
And sometimes I do like to do a few aerial manoeuvres. Nothing kinky. But I do like to do a couple of aerial manoeuvres on the way into bed, back from the bathroom. Let's fly. So plan on that. So and also the mattress that we've got is 34 centimeters high, so it's a bit of a beast as well.
Yeah.
So, and they said, look, don't even think about slats. So we've got like a 22 mil base that's underneath it to support the whole thing with a whole load of extra reinforcement.
Wow.
So yeah, I think we could drive a car over this without too many problems.
The slats are a very common IKEA element.
Yeah, they are. And to be fair, I have blown all of the. I'm running about a third set.
They inevitably break.
Yeah. So
and it's usually when someone does the aerial maneuver, and then you hear.
I've gone straight through. No, I've been right the way through a set, which was quite something. It was. I was so impressed by the maneuver because I really did get airborne, but I went straight through. Yeah, so obviously there's only one thing you can do in that situation, which is a lot of them actually went off and then through that way rather than broke. So obviously Natalie's half the weight of me, so I had to steal the ones that were on her side and stick the half broken ones on hers because it's never going to work for her. It's never going to be an issue for her, is it?
Yeah.
And And then actually she worked it out like about a couple of days later, which was an enjoyable argument. I enjoyed that discussion. So we've now got mattress plus frame. Okay, there are a few elements that we're missing here. So pillows are fine, we've got all that. But the main issues were, what do you do about a duvet and duvet covers?
Yeah. What do you do? Because now you need custom made.
Yeah. Well,
we wisened up years ago.
Yeah.
Not too many years ago, but a few years back. We were in Prague, and we were staying at a hotel in Prague, beautiful hotel in Prague.
Lovely.
And it was Soviet era style, but modernized. But the thing had 2 foot thick walls.
Wow.
There was no noise from outside.
So you couldn't hear the screaming.
You could hear nothing, and it was really off-putting actually, because you needed white noise. It was just nothing. It was,
wow.
But the interesting thing was, on the beds they had duvets, but they had one for each side, so they were folded over kind of things. And so my wife and I lived through that for our little vacation, and we kind of went, you know what? She's often cold, I'm often hot. I like to kick off the cover, she likes to keep them on. There's no trying to, so we've moved to the 2 duvets on our bed routine.
Natalie suggested this as well.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. But then at the end of the day, I think this is one of those things that as a couple you should have to put up with. Otherwise,
no.
What have you got to talk about? If it's not about arguing about a duvet or the dogs or the kids.
You don't need to have all of the things to argue about. You can just eliminate one.
It sounds like there's too much harmony in your household for my liking. So I just point blank refused. I said, no. And it's very rare that I get to put my foot down and that's the accepted scenario.
So if Natalie went with a no, that means she really didn't want it either. She just thought she'd throw that idea out there.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's really good.
She was just playing you.
Oh man, not again. Anyway, what we came up with was
custom made.
There is a size. There is a size called Emperor.
I've never heard of the Emperor size.
Neither had I. Until a little internet search to try and get me out of custom made prices.
Where do you even buy an Emperor size?
The UK, as it turns out.
Okay.
Mind you, they're a bit out of stock at the moment, so it might be a while, which considering we're on a timer now, like a 4-week timer on the frame, I can get the mattress made in 4 days.
Well, don't the people who make the mattresses also have a line on the people who make the rest of the stuff that goes with them?
James, be serious.
You just think it'd be like a natural side business for them.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that we have to custom make, therefore, is the fitted sheets. We could go flat sheet, but it's a pain in the neck, isn't it?
Yeah, no one likes those.
No. So I think I've got that is worked out now with another supplier. But, and then we put the mattress protector down. We're not incontinent yet, but we could be by the time at the end of this. And more importantly, the dogs are incontinent. So on that basis, we'll try and save all of them. So
I can just hear that come. Is that you? That's not me. Is that you? That's not me.
He did that this morning.
Oh, no.
And we were like, oh, come on. Well, he gives you that little puppy dog face. Oh, I'm only 9 months old. For goodness sake, Rolo never did this. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different discussion.
This is the dog that sits on your head.
Yes,
Could
it
be
is.
mildly incontinent as well.
Yeah. The things you put up with for the little cuties. Now, so basically the elements, I'm just waiting to hear back to find out whether or not the outfit that has the Emperor duvet covers that are out of stock can A, get them in stock, and secondly can do the rest of the custom work so I can go all with one supplier and then I can order everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it would. Nice. Make my life a lot easier and shipping a lot more reasonable.
So what's plan B if you can't get the Emperor-sized duvet and...
Then we have to go for other Emperor size. But everybody, when you go kind of to these sizes...
There's no one in country that makes Emperor size?
No.
How can that be?
It is. The problem that you find is that anybody...
This is the land of custom-made stuff.
Yeah, I know, but then when it comes to custom made, I don't really want to have to go, the way you do your shirts, where it's sourcing all materials myself and all that kind of thing. So a lot of the custom made stuff, they want to stick to plain colours, which is fine. Right. But, Natalie wants some kind of print on it. And she was happy with the stuff from these guys, which are Victoria Linen, by the way, victorialinen.co.uk.
What's the thread count on these things, by the way?
And they're not crazy actually. They're only kind of the 400, 600 mark. So nothing dramatic really.
I bought on a side note, I bought a fitted sheet to put over my hot tub just because I thought it would be nice as a little breaker. 54 thread count.
Wow. Still going?
Yes.
Nice.
It's kind of, at 54 thread count, it's basically burlap.
Well, you know, I think at the end of the day,
54 thread count.
Yeah, I'm kind of not that fussed from a thread count perspective, and more of it was, if we're having to custom make it, we don't want failures.
Right.
So therefore, that was kind of the logic that went behind it.
And you probably got to double up too. I mean, you might not need the duvet, but you're going to need a couple covers because it's going to go eventually.
Yes, of course. So that's very much where we are, and fingers crossed that kind of sorts it.
The other morning, I'm taking the dog out for his run.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of you because there was a maintenance guy for one of the, villa compounds close to me, standing out on the curb outside. They have 0 plants watering the pavement.
Oh, yes.
I was just, I chuckled.
It's at that moment that you're just like, what's actually going on here?
What are you doing here?
Are you just being paid, and therefore you need something to do?
So here's another interesting one, and I want to get your take on it. So I'm not going to...
James, am I about to explode?
Yes. I'm not going to mention any names, and I'm going to try and disguise this as much as possible because the person in question lives rather close to me. Now, whether or not this person listens to the podcast, I don't know. I've never mentioned that I do a podcast.
It's highly likely that they do.
Yeah, they just do.
Everybody does that. That's what you told me.
Everyone's listening. Come on, 38,000 downloads. Come on,
nice.
we're rocking. That. Actually on YouTube, I was checking out the YouTube stats this morning. 981 hours of watching content from us.
That's awesome.
In the last 28 days.
Blimey.
That's what I said. I said, we're more popular than Netflix.
Not in our house. Tell you what. Yellowstone at the moment.
Oh,
Natalie's watching.
What season are you up to?
I'm not. Be serious, James. I don't watch that stuff.
That's great. That's a great show.
Well, I really enjoy just coming in and going, where are the zombies? It's all Natalie ever watches, and then all of a sudden there's no zombies. I'm like,
no.
Are you all right?
Is she watching also 1834 or 1886?
I haven't got a clue.
Ask her if she's watching the prequel to Yellowstone.
Oh
no, that's worth watching too. That's even better.
Right. Well, she hasn't finished Yellowstone.
It's not better. It's different. Yellowstone. I'm just thinking without spoilers. This is no spoiler because Natalie might, but you'll mention this to her.
Yeah.
The end. I can't remember what season we just finished. What season's just ending now. So whatever it is, the third. Let's say it's the second season to the third season or third to fourth. You should probably do some research before we talk about this. But the way one season ends, it picks up exactly at that point in the next season. Probably the best 22 minutes of TV I've watched in years.
Well, you know why that is, which is they obviously filmed them back to back, and they're like, we can't afford any more sets, so we'll have to start from here.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. It's just fantastic.
You and Natalie have very similar taste when it comes to
zombies and Yellowstone.
And instead, I stick to YouTube car videos. I live for YouTube car videos.
There you go.
Well, it works quite well because we can be happily in the same room. Yeah. And actually, I'm about to paint us in a very bad light. And the actual reality is we are quite weird in terms of the way as a family things organized.
Coming from the guy who's ordered the emperor-size mattress and covers, we're kind of weird. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think everyone's going.
Well, also the kind of, so I get home from work and then, so I get home normally about 6:30.
Okay.
Then immediately, bless her, Natalie has got a meal ready for me, so I'll eat immediately.
Do you guys eat as a family, like everyone, or no? You get home, the kids have already eaten.
Exactly, kids and Natalie have already eaten together. And, I'm back later, so I'll eat separately.
And does she sit there and watch you eat?
No.
Okay.
With the kids, watching something on telly, garbage always. Yeah. And then straight after that, no, not with the kids. Gee whiz. So straight after that, I walk the dogs. Okay. So I'm then back normally at about 7:30, having done all of that. By which time they're already upstairs, and as a family, we then have an hour or so of watching telly. And the rules are, because it's actually in our room, the rules are it must be something the whole family wants to watch. So Pokemon is totally out the equation. But also, I want something that's actually going to either teach them something or alternatively is going to foster an interest.
Fraggle Rock?
No.
Have you ever watched Fraggle Rock?
I remember Fraggle Rock from back in the day.
It's been rebooted.
No.
Yes.
Well, at the moment, we're doing the Great Pottery Throwdown, which is awesome. British series. Yeah. And we're really enjoying that. And to see, Ruby is ridiculously creative anyway, but just the kind of discussions that come up as a result is just magic. So that's that hour, right? But the problem is, because the dogs are waking us up at 5 a.m. every morning.
One of them being incontinent, like you sit on your head.
We're absolutely utterly bushed by about 8:30. So Natalie is normally asleep by 9. And if I make it to 9:45, having watched my car video, it's quite something. Yeah. So this is the oddity of how our evenings are. So I don't actually have that slot, really, to watch hours of Yellowstone at the moment. And if I did, I would probably be watching car videos instead.
They drive pickups.
It's not the same though, is it?
Big Ram.
When they put a cowboy hat on, I'm kind of done.
Cowboy hat. That's pretty good.
No.
There is an episode. So whatever the final season is right now that we're up to, and I don't know. It's irrelevant. It's just, but they've got the guys doing rodeo, but they're doing the they're roping steers, and they're doing and I don't know what it's called. The rodeo folks are going to come at me here, where essentially with the horse and the cowboy, they're going back and forth with their horse to direct this calf in some direction. And I'm watching it. The horse does all the work. And the cowboy on that horse is looking, and he's just, subtle movements of his hand and back and forth. And the guy's not moving. He's not breaking a sweat. But these horses are just, I'm watching, it's amazing. It's just the skill to be able to let the horse do all that and not be terrified is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's art.
Same with polo horses, as well.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, they are talented animals, aren't
they? So back to this person who decided that they wanted to put in electric doors for their villa, for the garage, for the carport.
Okay, we're feasible so far.
Yeah, okay, feasible. So this is interesting. So they talk to their landlord, and the landlord says, really, I don't know if we want to do that. And so they come up with a 50-50 routine. And the person says, I'll get all the stuff, but you guys, chip in half and then whatever. So I think, okay, that sounds interesting. And of course, my wife's looking at me going, why wouldn't you just get out of your car and open the door? But it gets better, because one door opens inwards as you would have it. Yeah. And the other door slides.
What?
So the door for this carport area is not two doors opening whatever way. One opens inwards and one slides. So suddenly you need two mechanisms. All right?
Why? I feel like going around there and punching them in the face. That's not right. You can't do that.
Yeah. So anyway, the person in question is working on this, and they decide when they're in Europe, they are going to buy the mechanisms. So they do. And they've got a mechanism, I guess, that's a hinged opening thing inwards, which is weird, but the door opens inwards, so that's going to be fun.
Hydraulic ramp.
And then they've got one that with the track that's going to push the door to the side, goes.
And they bought these new?
They bought the mechanisms and all the stuff new in Europe. They bring it back to Dubai, and what is the first thing you do? You think, okay, because my suggestion is maybe get the door guy to come. I've got a guy.
Oh, God.
So the guy shows up 3 weeks ago, and the guy shows up in his blacked out Toyota Corolla with quite a bit of hardware in the trunk, the boot, and they start working at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm thinking, okay, it's 2 o'clock. I say, gotta do this, gotta install stuff. I hear drills going. I smell the burning of a drill. I'm just going, and I hear chip, 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 chip. So the tracks are going on and things, and drill burns out. And then I notice, it's getting pretty late. It's getting dark. I still hear everything going, and I'm looking out, and there's one LED light hanging off of an extension cord, lighting up where people are working. And getting stuff put in, and then it's like 3 weeks later, and the car's still parked outside. So I see that. I said, "What's going on?" Well, we've kind of got it all going, but now I need to call back to the HQ in Europe where I bought all this stuff just to make sure we get the wiring right for the motors. And and instantly I'm thinking, A, how many motors you got? B, what are you running this into? And C, you need to get a professional.
This is, okay, so the start point for this is, why did they feel the need to do two separate mechanisms, which would therefore have two...
I guess because the doors move in two different ways. One opens and one slides.
I know, but why? No, I understand why they needed it, but why did they feel a need to do it like that? Because it makes no sense.
You replace the door, put two openers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious one. You just literally do one door, one motor, and it'll be more expensive over the short term, but power-wise and reliability-wise, it's an utter no-brainer.
Well, the reliability, because all I'm thinking is when they finally get this working, it's going to break.
Yeah, but again, that's one of the big problems that people have here, which is, I can get that in Europe. Yeah. Well, no, you can't get the spares in Europe, can you?
No.
Or when you need it, when your cars are stuck inside, you'll be looking at a 3-week lead time at best, and that's assuming you've got everything lined up ready to go before getting it over here. If not, you want it quick? Yeah, no problem, sir. That'll be air freight. Well, enjoy that one.
But the fact that the vehicles, and I see pieces of it all there, and it looks like it's all ready to go. The fact that they haven't figured out the wiring for the motors.
Well, this is where it gets very, very odd, because the way these are all designed is to take a standard 240 volt input if it is from Europe, okay? And the way that we did it for the new office was we didn't even bother with a conversation with the supplier beforehand before we relayed the cable, exterior grade cable this time, to go from the power source to where the gate location is, with a whole bunch of additional coils so that whatever the final termination was required. But it's a standard 240 volt single phase cable that we use, and away you go. It's as easy as it gets. Yeah. So the fact that he has decided to delve into the motor and the motor wiring means he stuffed it before he even began, and there was a really easy way of doing this. They're all the same that way.
And the other thing that got me curious is there parity between the two systems that are one that's opening and one that's sliding?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, there'll be a completely independent...
Two remotes.
Yeah, no, it will be two remotes. They won't be talking to each other. It's not really feasible.
I just thought this is a mess.
It is a mess.
I mean, the idea is great, but it's a mess. And like I said, it's 3 weeks. They're still not in there. Stuff's attached, but they're...
I've got to say, though, we've got our garage door.
How's yours going? Because you had...
Yeah, we had to replace the springs on it probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And then as well, there was a control box issue where the remotes just weren't working particularly well. Yeah. Hamza, bless him, sorted it.
Does he do that stuff too?
No, he doesn't. But bless him, if I call him, he'll find a guy who just came and replaced the main control unit for it. But the problem is, it is the slowest garage door you've ever seen. And when I got the guys, when I got the guys over, they said, "Oh yeah, it's well known as being that slow." Oh, so it's not dying? That's a shame. Oh well, we've got a new one for 4,000 if you want. It's much quicker. I'll survive it. It's every single morning, every single night, and it's just like, really?
And it irritates you.
Oh, it really gets through to me. But these things are sent to test us. And so that's got to be a good thing, James. Yeah. For my patience, that has got to be a good thing.
Well, the good thing on my side is 22 years, I slide one side open and I open the other one. And you know what?
Those extra steps work.
They work.
Yeah.
It never fails.
It is true. There is going to be that time. I mean, it's lucky that actually, I always have a few spare cars around and about. Because when that happens, I know it's going to happen when both cars are in there. When the springs did it, the only way I could get the garage door up was literally lifting it to help the motor to get it up there. And then I went out, having not told Natalie about the problem. She came out and went, "Oh, the dozy idiot's gone and left the garage door open again." Hit the button, it came down at the speed of light, scared the living down outside, at which point I got a phone call going, "The garage door's broken." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, that's why I left the garage door open." It closed very quickly. I'm like, "Oh no, you haven't." So I had to do it all over again just to be able to get her car back out.
I got some folks with a garage door also just down the road. One of the, a nice roller garage door, all rusting out. It looks horrible. And I guess someone in the complex decided, clearly it's happening to them all. Yeah. And they just replaced a few panels. Looks terrible.
There's a guy down the road who's done that, but he renovated his entire house and then he replaced only the bottom ones. The problem is the top ones, I think, were also cream originally, but they've been there a long time, so they're now white. And the bottom ones are beige with like a slight green tinge to it. Looks horrific, and he's got the most stunning house.
You drive up every day and you look at it and go, oh, maybe he's going to paint the whole thing. Or he doesn't care.
No, it's been there for 6 months at least.
So he just doesn't care.
I guess so, but you'd have thought somebody who spends so much care on the rest of their property. And it's one of these where you drive into, they've got like this beautiful driveway area. Then you turn in left to the garage and there's the house in front of you. And you look at these two stripes, and I obviously walk past it every day with the dogs, and it's one of those that you just like, this is so simple to solve. Why haven't you done it?
The last thing I saw this morning, and I know we gotta wrap up here in a second, is we talk a lot about lighting, exterior lighting, and the white bulbs versus the not white bulbs, whatever we call those, soft white.
Yeah, soft white.
And of course I have soft white. My neighbor doesn't have soft white. Should we
just make that point? It's soft white versus cool white. Right. Cool white is white, and soft white is yellow. Yeah. You want yellow.
So I have soft white, my neighbor has cool white.
Oh, jeez.
But this morning at 5 to 5, I'm out with the run for the dog, and one of my neighbors down the street has his exterior lighting on that I've never seen before. Exquisite.
Nice.
So instead of having it on top of the walls, it's halfway down the wall. Now I was running with the dog, so I couldn't stop to figure out how we'd wired it up. I'll take a look another day.
Yeah.
But with some bougainvillea hanging down as well.
Beautiful.
It was stop and take a look worthy.
Oh, that's good.
Really, and it was that lighting where you've got a little bit on the top. It's like a tube, a cylindrical piece attached in the middle like a T, and so you've got lighting top and bottom. And it wasn't too bright. It was very, very soft. It was beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I just remembered the supplier. There's a brilliant supplier in the UAE for lights called Lumo. Lumo.ae.
Lumo.ae.
Really good value in terms of price, but also their gear is really good. Oh. It's really, really good. So Lumo.ae for anybody that needs lighting in the UAE.
Wonderful.
And I'm not on a percentage. Just so you know, it's just good.
Lumo.ae.
Yes.
If you're looking for lighting. Colin, it's great to be back.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
A lot of fun.
Thank you.
We covered a lot of territory today.
We did.
We still got more to cover on our notes, but we'll get to that next time. Thank you very much for joining us.